said, get in, it's good, it's all right. Well, I put my foot in the boat, and it creaked ominously. And the bottom of the boat was wood too, no carpeting. I felt around inside the boat, and I found a seat, but it wasn't a nice, comfortable, easy chair-like seat. It was a splintery kind of a wooden seat. He said, get in, it'll be fine when you get in. So I put my other foot in, and I felt around in there, but there was no fridge. And there was no steering wheel with the horn, and there was no buttons for a GPS system. But I thought maybe the magic begins when you sit down in the boat, so I sat down on the splintery seat, and the seat made a terrible noise, and the next thing I know, I was sitting on the bottom of that boat, that slimy bottom of the boat, and the boat itself sank to the bottom of the river, which fortunately was only about a foot deep. I told you before that I had a very nice feelings for my brother. Kind brother, very, very brilliant brother, building me a wonderful boat. Those feelings that turned suddenly to a rage. And I leaped out of that boat. This is not a boat, I said, this is a piece of garbage. My brother said, well, it's not quite finished. No, finished? I said, it's not even started. And then I said the words that all siblings say to other siblings at one time or another, I'm going to tell. And I started running up the hill towards our cottage. Wait, said Kevin. He realized he was in a bit of trouble now. Wait, he said. What? I said, I stopped and turned around. If you don't tell, I'll let you drive the boat. The real boat. When? I said. Tomorrow, he said. No, I said, and I started walking back up towards the cottage. No, I'm going to tell Mom. Okay, you can drive it now, he said. I turned back. Can I drive it a little bit or all the way up and down the river, I said. A little bit. No, I said, I'm going to tell, and I turned back. Okay, he said, all the way up and down the river. Okay, I said, thank you very much, and I smiled at him. And we went down to the dock, and we took out the real boat. And Kevin drove it away from the dock, and then he showed me how to use the controls of that boat. I put my hand on the little stick. When I turned that stick to the right, the boat went left. You remember that? Oh, yes, that's fine. When I turned the stick to the left, the boat went right. Okay, great. I knew everything about it. And I started driving that boat. Oh, it was great. The wind was in my hair, and the waves were slapping against the side of the boat. I felt the sun on my face, and I was driving the boat. And he said, turn to the right, and I turned the thing to the left, and the boat went right. And then we drove some more, and then he said, turn to the left. I turned the thing to the right, and the boat went left. And this was so easy. This was great. And then he said, turn to the right, and I turned the boat thing to the right, and the boat went left. And then he was saying, cut the motor, and we were driving up the riverbank, and I could feel the branches whipping past my head. And we came to a stop. It was like we were sitting in a roller coaster car going up the hill. And I said, I guess I shouldn't be driving the boat. All I wanted was to be able to do something by myself with no one grabbing onto me or telling me what to do. That's all I wanted. But I shouldn't drive the boat at all. What are you, a chicken? Said my brother. You said you were going to drive that boat up and down the river, and you are going to do that. Besides, you won't make that mistake again. Turn it the wrong way. No, I didn't think I would make that mistake again. So we sat there for a minute, and he said, tonight when it gets dark, we'll all go up onto the golf course. Our cottage was next to the golf course. And we'll play tag up there because there's nothing you can run into. And we'll all be the same in the dark. Thank you, I said. So then we pushed that boat back into the water. And I drove that boat. And I drove it up and down the river. And my brother didn't say anything except to tell me when to turn left or turn right. And it was great. All morning I drove that boat up and down the river. And at lunchtime, we took the boat back to the dock. And we went up to the cottage. And my mother was making sandwiches for us. She said, "Oh, it's just lovely to see the two of you getting along together." "What have you been doing this